left the past behind with nowhere to go. You came searching truth you swore I owed, but the ground held stories the water never stole. You chase old memories like they must confess, but the silence stays stronger than the weight you press. When the river forgot to take the dead, all the quiet lingered where the echoes spread. No waves, no pull, no words misread. Yeah, the river forgot to take the dead. You follow footsteps through the dust and reeds, looking for the shadows wrapped around my deeds. But the riverbed kept what it chose to keep, holding tight to whispers far too old to speak. You want the past like it owes you truth, but the water won't rise just to comfort you. When the river forgot to take the dead, all the quiet lingered where the echoes spread. No waves, no pull, no words misread. Yeah, the river forgot to take the dead. Let the guitars roll like a storm rolling wide. Let the drums shake dust from the canyon side. If the earth stays still when the past draws near, then its silent weight is louder than your fear. When the river forgot to take the dead, left the secrets buried where the truth won't tread. No cracks, no breaks, no stories said. Yeah, the river forgot to take the dead. The river forgot to take the dead.
I've seen the river shine like a blade at night, where the moon drags secrets through the edge of light. You kept chasing footsteps, fading out of sight, but the ghost kept moving where the waves ran wide. You haunt the past like you know his name, but the water won't answer what you try to claim. Ghosts walking on a waterline, holding all the truths you swear are mine. They don't speak, follow ripples like they're meant to guide. Try to pull the story from the undertide, but the river guards what I try to hide, letting only shadows drift along its side. You want confession like it's owed to you, but the current won't bend just to tell what's true. Ghosts walking on a waterline, holding all the truths you swear are mine. They don't speak, don't break, don't toe the line. Yeah, yeah. Ghosts walking on the waterline. Let the guitars roll like thunder on the banks. Let the drums roll deep like a distant tank. If the river stays quiet when your doubts incline, then the ghosts know more than your crooked spine. Walking on the waterline where the dark runs cold but the stars still shine. They don't fold, don't fade, don't intertwine. Yeah, ghosts walking on the waterline. Ghosts walking on the waterline. I walk the river where the shadows bend, where the water used to run like a loyal friend. You came seeking truth at the bitter end, but the current froze up, wouldn't even pretend. You pushed for answers like the night owed you, but the river stayed still when you cut on through. The current lost its nerve, wouldn't carry all the things you deserve. No rush, no pull, no twist to serve. Yeah, the current lost its nerve. Chased reflections on a restless tide, trying to stir the ghosts that the deep denied. But the water held firm, never opened wide, keeping all the secrets it was sworn to hide. You threw your doubts like stones in the dark, but the river didn't move, didn't bear your mark. The current lost its nerve, wouldn't carry all the things you deserve. No rush, no pull, no twist to serve. Yeah, the current lost its nerve. Silence runs deeper than your broken words. The current lost its nerve, left the old truth stranded at the final curve. No flow, no sway, nothing left to preserve. Yeah, the current lost its nerve. The current lost its Follow footprints where the river used to roll. Watch the tide drag memories back to shore. You came hunting in truth like a settled score, but the shadows rose first, saying nothing more. You want the past like it owes you light, but the dark runs deeper than your appetite. Shadows wash the shore, holding secrets you keep begging for. They don't speak, don't break, don't settle the score. Yeah, shadows wash the shore. Like stones into the spray, try to stir the ghosts that had washed away, but the shoreline held what it chose to stay, keeping every whisper you chased that day. You push the tide like it must confess, but the dark won't rise just to clean your mess. Let the drum shake earth from the hollow ground. If the tide stays silent when your guilt's implored, then the shadows know more than your voice ever was. Shadows wash the shore, lined up quiet where the truth runs sore. They don't bend, don't fade, don't open the door. Yeah, shadows wash the shore. Slow on a changing tide. You chase the whispers rolling at my side. inside. You want the darkness to confess its sin, but the deep won't open just to let you in. A drowned soul still breathing in the hush of the waves where the shadows are weaving. They don't speak, don't beg, don't beg for leaving. Yeah, a drowned soul still breathing. Yeah, a drowned soul still breathing. You cast your doubts like anchors in the blue, trying to raise the secrets that I once knew. But the current held tight to what it wouldn't let through, guarding every memory you thought was true. You push the water like it owes you life, but the tide rolls back, keeping stories tight. A drowned soul still breathing in the hush of the waves where the shadows are weaving. They don't speak, don't beg, don't beg for leaving. Yeah, a drowned soul still breathing. Yeah, a drowned soul still breathing. Let the guitars roar like a storm breaking free. Let the drums shake the coast where the truth used to be. If the river stays calm when your fears come bleeding, then the deep holds more than your heart is needed. Drowned soul still breathing in the quiet where the dark keeps dreaming. They don't crack, don't fall, don't give the meaning. Yeah, drowned soul still breathing. Yeah, drowned soul still breathing. Drowned soul still breathing. I heard the river whisper in the dead of night, calling out the stories that were buried from sight. You came searching hard like you needed a fight, but the water rose up, pushing back your right. You wanted truth like it owed you sound, but the river held steady, never came around. The river spat the names back out, echo through the valley with a thunderous shout. No hush, no calm, no quiet doubt. Yeah, the river spat the names back out. You toss your questions like stones at the shore, try to wake the echoes you've been asking for, but the current pulled tight, guarding something more, letting only fragments drift up from the floor. You chase the tide like it must comply, but the guitars roll like a storm coming down. Let the drums shake dust from the canyon town. If the water stays firm when your fears gain clout, then the river knows more than you dream about. The river spat the names back out, rising strong where the dark ran stout. No lies, no breaks, no twisted route. Yeah, the river spat the names back out. The river spat the names back out. Turn back, letting shadows sleep. You want forgiveness like it's owed to you, but the tide won't rise just to pull you through. No tide strong enough for sins, can't wash what the dark pulls in. No storm, no surge, no place to begin. Yeah, no tide strong enough for sin. Doubts like stones in the foam, trying to shake the secrets I buried alone. But the current stayed cold, never touched the unknown, guarding every whisper like carved in stone. You chase the past like you can make it bend, but the sea won't move just to let you mend. No tide strong enough for sins, can't wash what the dark pulls in. No storm, no surge, no place to begin. Yeah, no tide strong enough for sins. Let the guitars roar like a tempest on the rise. Let the drums shake earth beneath the storm-swept skies. If the waves stay silent when your guilt kicks in, then the ocean knows more than your lines of spin. No tide strong enough for sins, where the deep keeps quiet and the truth runs thin. No break, no road, no current to win. Yeah, no tide strong enough for sins. No tide strong enough for sins. night lays quiet under silver light. You kept chasing truths buried out of sight, but the moon showed shadows never was right. You hunt the past like it's bound to speak, but the desert stays calm when your doubts grow weak. Bones drying in the moonlight, holding secrets you try to rewrite. They don't bend, don't crack, don't fuel your fight, yeah. Bones drying in the moonlight. You threw your questions like sparks in the sand, trying to wake the ghosts you don't understand. But the dust held steady like a guarded lamb, keeping every whisper out of your hand. You want confession from a silent view, but the night won't rise just to answer you. Bones drying in the moonlight, holding secrets you tried to rewrite. They don't bend, don't crack, don't fuel your fight, yeah. Bones drying in the guitars roll like a wildfire's breath. Let the drums shake dust from the canyon's depth. If the dark stays loyal when the truth burns bright, then the bones know more than your fading spine. Bones drying in the moonlight, standing still where your fears ignite. They don't speak, don't break, don't set things right, yeah. Bones drying in the where the cold winds moan, where the reeds sway quiet like they guard the unknown. You came chasing shadows carved into stone, but the water stays still, leaving me on my own. You hunt the past like it's supposed to bend, but the current won't move just to help you mend. Where the water wouldn't carry me, left me standing in the dark where I'm meant to be. No pull, no drift, no chance to break free, yeah. Where the water wouldn't carry me. You tossed your questions like stones to the deep, hoping old reflections would rise from their sleep. But the river held tight everything I keep, letting only silence roll slow and steep. You push the tide like it owes you truth, but the waves don't answer what they can't prove. Where the water wouldn't carry me, left me standing in the dark where I'm meant to be. No pull, no drift, no chance to break free, yeah. Where the water wouldn't carry me.
guitars roar like a storm down the line. Let the drums shake dust from the canyon spine. If the current won't rise when my past agrees, then the river knows more than your memory. Where the water wouldn't carry me, held a silence like a vow in secrecy. No break, no sway, no false guarantee. Yeah, where the water wouldn't carry me, where the water wouldn't carry me. I'll walk the river bend before the dawn, where the water whisper truth's already gone. You came chasing shadows, dragging on and on, but the echoes hit first, rolling cold and strong. You wanted answers carved into the flow, but the sound came back with things you shouldn't know. The banks filled with echoes, calling out the names you swore were ghosts. No hush, no peace, just the stories they boast. Yeah, the banks filled with echoes. You threw your doubts like stones in the tide, hoping old reflections would rise and confide. But the river just held everything it denied, letting only whispers drift along its side. You chase a noise like you can make it bend, but the water won't speak just to help you mend. The banks filled with echoes, calling out the names you swore were ghosts. No hush, no peace, just the stories they boast. Yeah, the banks filled with echoes. Let the guitars roar like a storm rolling in. Let the drums shake dirt from where tales begin. If the water answers when your doubts impose, then the river knows more than your fear ever shows. The banks filled with echoes, where the past runs loud and the truth overflows. No break, no fade, nothing left to dispose. Yeah, the banks filled with echoes. I saw shadows gather where the tide ran low, figures in the moonlight like they came to know. You came searching, truth the river won't show, but the shore held faces from long ago. You chased the past
acts like it owes you sound, but the still night speaks louder than the waves around. Dead man waiting on the shore, holding stories you keep begging for. They don't rise, don't speak, don't open the door. Yeah, dead man waiting on the shore. You threw your doubts like sparks at the sand. Try to wake the ghosts you don't understand, but the coastline held like a silent command, keeping every whisper locked in the land. You want confession like it's due to you, but the dark won't break just to tell what's true. On the shore where the truth stands still and the echoes roar. They don't bend, don't fade, don't settle the score. Yeah, dead man waiting on the shore. Where the current carves secrets into sand and stone. You came seeking truth like it was yours alone, but the river ran dry, leaving echoes groan. You chased the silence like it held the key, but the water wouldn't rise just to set you free. The river's thirst ran empty, left behind the stories you keep tempting. No surge, no pull, no waves defending. Yeah, the river's thirst ran empty. You tossed your doubts like stones in the dust, trying to shake the deep you were taught to trust. But the bank stood cold, never giving up much, holding tight the memories you tried to flush. You hunt the past like it must confess, but the dry ground keeps what the water won't bless. The river's thirst ran empty, left behind the stories you keep tempting. No surge, no pull, no waves defending. Yeah, the river's thirst ran empty. Thirst ran empty. where the truth stays cracked and the dark feels plenty. No break, no roll, no rising gently. Yeah, the river's thirst ran empty.